Deadshot has a life outside of the Suicide Squad, so what's he up to? Welcome to the Complete Story Search, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is from the book Suicide Squad's Most Wanted. Down in South America, Deadshot begins to take out the members of the Libertarian Cartel, the most powerful narco-terrorist organization in South America. But how does he do it so simply? Easy. He's not afraid of death. That's what gives him his edge. Inside the compound, some of the higher-ups watch as Deadshot tears through their defenses looking for La Paz. The men discuss how La Paz tried to get Deadshot under his payroll, but Deadshot turned them down, telling them that his family was killed by a bunch of drug dealers. One of the men then asks if he just has a vendetta against narcos. And then, in a hail of bullets flying across the room, Deadshot tells them, "Nope, it's just my new job." Deadshot tells the men that they are the only 3 men left there, so which one of them is going to tell him where La Paz is? He then turns, shoots one, then the second one, and tells the remaining guy, "You look like you would break. Let's go." While dragging the man to his extraction point, he radios into Amanda Waller, telling her that La Paz was here. But they missed him. After 3 months of sitting in his cell after that operation, Deadshot gets a letter. And after reading the letter, he demands an answer from Amanda Waller, asking if this is true. Because if he's really in hospice, he needs to go take care. But Waller stops him, telling him that no, he won't. Besides, he already has his next assignment. Even though they couldn't get La Paz, they did find out that he has a daughter in the States and they're going to secure her. La Paz has been paying a rather large sum of money to the Falcone family in return for keeping her safe. But with everyone already out on other assignments, Deadshot's going to be moving on this mission and he's going to be getting backup from Will Evans, the newest sharpshooter for Task Force X. Will tells him that he met Deadshot once in the Gotham County lockup, but Deadshot tells him that he doesn't remember that. And then he turns to Waller, "Why me? I'm not going to babysit a rookie." But then, Will headbutts Deadshot, breaking his nose. Deadshot pulls out a gun from Will's holster and fires a shot next to Will's ear, telling him that they're even now. Neither are exactly thrilled about the situation, but Deadshot leaves with Will and the two of them get into position around the Falcone family. The plan is to use a non-lethal method and wait for La Paz's daughter Lenora to return from school. Once she starts to arrive, Will starts tranquilizing the soldiers around them, but then a gun goes off. Will calls out that Deadshot's side isn't clear, so change of plans. Will jumps down and begins shooting everyone until their radio contact Olivia calls in for Deadshot to report in, but Deadshot's not at his post. Deadshot left his post and he started to travel towards his parents' home. He needed to keep a promise before he dies. He needs to kill his father. Back at the Falcone compound, Will reports to Olivia that Deadshot went AWOL, so Olivia contacts Waller to let her know about the situation. Amanda sits with Deadshot's detonator, contemplating if Deadshot is actually expendable to Task Force X. At the Lawton estate, Deadshot stands there thinking about his life. He's always told people that his family was killed by a bunch of drug dealers who got caught by the stray bullets. But really, that was all a lie. The truth is, Deadshot came from an abusive family life. His father was an alcoholic, and he used to hit Deadshot and his older brother, and his mother would just let it happen. His older brother Eddie would at times take beatings for Deadshot, until one day it went too far. The night that it went too far, Deadshot decided that he would take things into his own hands, and he took one of his father's rifles and he climbed a tree outside. He had his father in his sights. All he had to do was pull the trigger, and when he did, everything went wrong. The shot missed and instead he hit his older brother Eddie in the head. That night, Deadshot made 2 promises. One was that he would never miss another shot, and the second was that the next time he saw his father, he would kill him. As Deadshot walked into the den where his mother was sitting with his father, he tells her that there's not enough forgiveness for that man. Maybe she was trying to get some absolution for herself by taking care of him. She stands up and she tells him that he should be here. He was supposed to be dead. And Deadshot tells her, "I'm not that lucky." She then tells him to leave. She won't let him touch his father. This is all his fault anyway. So he pushes her to the side, and Mrs. Lawton tells him that he was the one who killed Eddie. Deadshot tells her to shut up, and then the beeping from the life support stops, and it goes blank. Mr. Lawton passed away. Deadshot tells him, "No! It was supposed to be me that was going to kill you!" Deadshot then turns and breaks the life support machines, and his mother tells him that he ruined everything! He's no son to her! He's nothing! As the two of them sit on their knees, Deadshot begins to get up and he says, "This is me," looking her right in the eye. Mrs. Lawton tells him to do it. "Do it, you little piece of..." And then a gunshot goes off. Deadshot begins to leave, and as he does, he sees a picture of his daughter, Suchin. They knew? What did they tell her about him? You see, Deadshot has a daughter that he's been keeping hidden from everyone. No one should have known about her, but somehow, his now dead parents knew. Back at the penitentiary, Waller sits still holding Deadshot's remote. In the Suicide Squad, you have a bomb placed in your neck which will blow up your head if you do anything wrong, and currently, Deadshot's off radar. And Harley asks Waller if she's going to do it. Waller tells her no, she knows where Deadshot is, but if he doesn't come quietly, then take him out. Deadshot begins to go through the records of his home, and he sees that his parents paid off Suchin's mother and then put her into foster care so that she would not be able to claim any of the family fortune. The worst part about all of this was that Waller knew about it, but he won't have to hunt her down. He knows she's already coming for him. Thankfully, Deadshot's father loved guns, and as the soldiers begin to storm the house, Deadshot opens fire on them. Cheetah and Boomerang jump down, but as they get closer, Deadshot shoots a boomerang out of Boomerang's hand, telling him, "This is your only warning." Boomerang doesn't stop though, and he begins throwing smoke boomerangs, and then a concussion boomerang. But Deadshot already knows his routine. He's already prepared for Boomerang. Just then, Cheetah jumps in, so Deadshot blasts her in the face with an elephant gun, not killing her, but slowing her down quite a bit. Boomerang sees this, and before he can throw another boomerang, he's shot through the arm. Deadshot then radios up Waller, telling her to stop cowering behind the squad. Come out so we can settle this. As Deadshot sits in his house, he begins to see a figure appear and then walk in. And it's Harley Quinn. Deadshot asks if they sent in a head doctor to talk him down, and she says, well, she is qualified, and it looks like his head does need a little bit of doctoring. Harley convinces Deadshot that he'll have better luck saving his daughter alive, and the two of them begin to walk out. But as soon as they are outside, Deadshot is sprayed down with bullets, and the one pulling the trigger is Will. Time begins to pass, and soon Deadshot wakes up in intensive care. And the first thing he sees is Waller. He asks her why she didn't just kill him, and she tells him that she still has plans for him. He's more of an insurance plan at this point. As Waller begins to leave, he tells her that he will kill her, and she tells him, aim lower first. Try wiggling your toes before anything else. Once Waller leaves, Will comes to pay a visit, and he reveals a rather shocking element about Deadshot's origin. That story that Deadshot tells everyone, the one where his family was killed, that was Will's story. Deadshot stole it when they met in prison a while back, but it doesn't matter anymore. Waller thinks Deadshot's expendable, which is what Will wanted. That way, Will can be Deadshot's replacement. As him. Will and the rest of the squad head out on their next mission, which is the 15th annual Red Marketplace. This is the ultimate trade show for drug lords and criminal masterminds, trading all forms of illegal things. The squad's main reason to get La Paz back, which they missed out on, was so that they can attend one of these events, which they did. What better way to break in the new Deadshot than to bid his contract kills? With Will on display for people to bid on, everyone in the Suicide Squad begins to target their objectives, the Red Market Board of Directors, which they need to take in alive. After getting the okay to engage, Will begins to fire into the crowd, killing everyone in sight. Now, normally, all of this killing would seem to be a bit over the top, but for Will, it's a bit different. After losing his family to stray bullets from drug dealers, Will grew up with a troubled life, always getting into fights and always getting locked up. But once in jail, he met Deadshot, someone that Will looked up to. Deadshot told him that he was good at what he does because he doesn't care if he lives or dies. But Will saw it the other way around, because he did care about himself, which is what made him good at what he does. Will started working small jobs and soon became recruited by the Red Market. But the thing that he didn't know was that he was contracted for life. So after taking jobs for a couple of years and then training for several more, Will set out to prove that he is the best killer that there was, and also to make Deadshot pay for stealing his family tragedy, making it his backstory. So after the Red Market refused to release his contract, Will killed them. Will got what he wanted from Deadshot. Hell, he even became the new Deadshot. Now, he can get his revenge on the Red Market. Harley and Boomerang begin rounding up their targets, but Will steps in and starts shooting both of them. Waller then radios in telling him that that is not the objective, and he tells her, yeah, about that, I really don't care. Waller then contacts Diablo and tells him that he will contain Will, but when Diablo attacks him, Will steps through his attack and shoots him in the head. The remaining directors then head towards the helipad trying to escape, and Will follows after them. Olivia waits outside telling Waller that they need to detonate Will's bomb, but then she looks down and sees that she doesn't have Will's remote. And Waller says that Will actually doesn't have a neck bomb. A second later, Olivia is shot. Will hurt her, and as the other helicopters begin to fly off, Will fires off his guns, killing the remaining board members. Amanda begins to call back the remaining members of Task Force X, and to get Diablo the medical attention that he's gonna need to live. She knew she picked wrong with Will. She needed Floyd back, but when she went to go check on Floyd's cell, he was already gone. Amanda rushes back to the monitoring room to watch the video of Deadshot in his cell. She watches him do his normal routine, but that's when she realizes he was taking the silverware from his meals to create surgical instruments, and he cut the bomb out of his neck. He then took the bomb, planted it, and blew a hole in the wall, and once he got out, he took a guard's uniform and snuck out of the building. Amanda tells her team to clean up the mess and get ready to report for a debriefing. For now, she's going to let him think that he's in control. Once Deadshot broke free, he left to gather his supplies, clean up, and pay a visit to someone, Suchin, his daughter. Deadshot brings her a stuffed panda, and the two of them leave. While walking, he asked, "Pandas are your favorite, right?" She tells him no, it was actually koalas. Deadshot spends time with his daughter, and then finally reports get back to Waller that they've located Floyd Lawton. But her men question, why are they not to take him in? Waller explains that Floyd has unfinished business with Will. After that, they'll pick him up. So right now, they just need to put out the media blitz that the original Deadshot is alive. Elsewhere though, Will has been doing freelance contract kills as the new Deadshot, but when he goes to collect his payments, his employer only gives him $3 million out of the $10 million deal. Will asks what about the original price, but the employer tells him, yeah, $10 million for Deadshot, which you're not. The media said the real Deadshot is back. He then brings up an article showing Floyd is broken out of jail. Later, Floyd begins to shave his head and shave his mustache, and he plans to take Suchin away. But when he goes to pick her up from foster care, he sees the door to her home is shot up. Floyd runs in and he sees that the foster parents have been killed, and he finds a note on the head of the stuffed panda that he gave Suchin. On the note it reads, "Your life for hers, signed W." Deadshot looks in the note and then he looks over at the foster kids and one of them tells him, "Someone took Suchin." Deadshot tells him, "I know, but don't worry, I'm gonna get her back. I just need you to close your eyes for a moment. I'm gonna take you outside." After rounding the kids up, the kids all head outside, and once they get there, Deadshot has several laser sights pointed at him, and Waller is standing there. Deadshot tells the kids that it's going to be okay. These people will take care of you. And one of the kids tells Waller that she better not shoot the nice man. He's gonna save Suchin. Waller leans down and tells him, yes, she knows. Elsewhere, Will prepares for Deadshot to arrive, and he tells Suchin that he knows that this all might seem scary, but no matter what terrible things can happen, she can rise above it. Deadshot begins to travel to the location, but he informs Amanda that before he cuts off the radio, he knows that they don't see eye to eye. But she will do something for him once this is done. And not because it's for him, but because it's the right thing to do. And it's the only way that he'll work for her again. Deadshot arrives on the island that Will told him to come to, and he finds gear laid out before him. On the screen, Will appears and he tells him that this is a game to see who is the better sharpshooter. So long as it gets played, Suchin will go free no matter who lives or dies. Each rifle has 2 shots. Their wrist guns only have 1 clip each, so Deadshot will have to make his shots count. Deadshot tells him that it's only gonna take 1 bullet, but when Will tells him spoken like a true killer, Deadshot responds with, "Shut up." The two of them have sensors showing a general area of where the other ones are at so they can plan their shots. But as Will gets into position, Deadshot fires 2 shots. One hits Will's rifle, and the second hits Will's comm in his arm, disabling his eyes on Deadshot. So Deadshot begins to close in on the lighthouse where Will is hiding. However, for Deadshot, this isn't a game, and he takes off his helmet so that he can sneak up on Will. But that doesn't matter. Will has proximity sensors in the suits, and he fires back, hitting Deadshot. The shots don't stop him though, and Deadshot charges after Will, punching him, while Will continues to fire shots at him. Will says that if only he'd follow the rules, maybe his daughter wouldn't have followed him to his grave. So Deadshot takes what strength he has left, and he pushes Will over the edge. As the men follow, Deadshot leans in and he tells Will, "You talk too much," and he fires 1 shot right through Will's eyes. Later, Amanda and her men show up to clean up the mess, and when Deadshot picks up Suchin, she asks if the bad man is gone, and he tells her yes, no one will ever hurt her again. Deadshot tells Amanda that he did his part, now she keeps her end. 3 weeks later, Deadshot watches as Suchin plays on a playground. Suchin asks if he's gonna come out and play, and he tells her that he would, but they're going to get ready to take her to her new home soon. Suchin tells him that she thought he was coming. Deadshot tells her he knows, and he's sorry, and then a voice tells her that his country needs him. Waller tells Suchin that Floyd is a very important man, and he'll be keeping America safe. So she asks, like a superhero? And Deadshot tells her, something like that. Deadshot and Suchin say their goodbyes, and Floyd is taken back to Belle Reeve. And Harley says, "Hey, the stash is back!" And he tells her, "It just didn't feel right to not have it." She hands him a ball and a mitt so he can go back to throwing his ball against his cell wall. And once inside, he does just that. It's a fun little side story explaining Deadshot, but what I found really interesting about this is a recent story retconning the origin of Floyd Lawton that we gave to you about a week ago. These are both technically his origins because the original was the original origin and this is the retconned origin, so let me know, which one do you like better? Do you like the original one where his parents died and it was kind of a sense of vengeance for him? Or do you like the one where basically he was just beat as a child and then took another man's origin? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian. Have a good day, guys.